It should get like a countdown. All right. Let's see. Damn, I can't see how to watch
it. We live.
I can't see how to. We live. Yo, what up? We are live and in color.
What you looking for, man?
Nothing, just trying to see I get the comments up.
Yeah. All right, DX Rap. Brian Q. Happy Father's Day, fam. Not too fam.
Yo, James, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Okay. All right.
Brian Q, I got a kid too, man. Wish me happy Father's Day, man.
Yeah, I said 10:15. We just giving them a couple minutes. Charlemagne, are we live? As what Ray J was saying?
Yeah, I'm good.
Let me pull up your mock. Happy Father's Day to you guys, Brian Q. Not too fan. If you got kids, I don't want to say Happy Father's Day if you don't have any kids and you're not planning on having any. I don't want to catch you by surprise.
Yeah, no Happy Father's Day if you're not taking care of your kids either, man.
Yeah, cool. Man. If you're not taking care of your kids, man, we can't respect that. Let's see. All right. Utility Sports, man, here to show some love, man. I appreciate the love that you've been showing us on those Twitter streets or X, whatever it's called. So big shout out to you. All right, you guys ready? All right, let's do this. All right, James.
All right, man.
Released his mock draft 2.0.
First and second round, Rob. I was working, man.
Yeah, we're gonna do the first round. All right. So, all right, at number 30, you got the LA Clippers going with. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna share my thoughts, and then I'm gonna let the readers or the listeners, I should say. Yeah, you on time, BTB. You are right on time. Rip City Rips. Shout out to the Blazers fan, man. I grew up a Blazers fan, so hopefully James did us right with the pick. All right, let's do this. All right, James. At number 30, the LA Clippers.
Yeah.
You got them going with Penn State's Yanic, Konan, Niederhauser.
Yeah.
Your description is he's a backup energy big, replicates lob threat. I like that pick. I mean, I think James Harden is at his best with a lob threat, even though my man Zubac had a great year, a little bit ground bound. He's not the vertical lob threat that Harden played with in Houston. And I guess in Houston.
But you know,
he got one. He played with Claxton in Brooklyn. I mean, Embiid wasn't really like a vertical lob threat. But all right, share why you like Yanic, Konan, Niederhauser. You were high on him early. You did an episode saying that he's a guy that people need to pay more attention to.
And now they paying attention.
Now they paying attention. So for those that don't know, man, why do you like Niederhauser?
I like Niederhauser because, like you said, vertical lob threat. And I think while he is a run and dunk big, he has a little bit more game. And I see the people, not necessarily in the chat, but they see a light-skinned dude with an afro and they automatically think that's Jackson Hayes. And I think he has a higher IQ, basketball IQ than Jackson Hayes. He's a little bit more polished.
All right. I'm going to put you on the hot spot here, the hot seat. Jackson Hayes was a lottery pick. Niederhauser isn't. What's the difference? Why was Jackson Hayes so highly touted and Niederhauser, is people just not finding out who he is?
Here's the thing. The run and dunk big, to me, is you can get one late, you can get one early. The numbers show, I feel like you should probably be taking your run and dunk bigs at about 9 or 10, and it's just kind of a mixed bag on those guys. Now, Jackson Hayes is he's like a track athlete, meaning like with a run to start off a 1 foot gather, he can dunk. And he showed some athleticism even in, New Orleans and LA. But the biggest difference is Yanic Niederhauser is 3 years older, you know what I'm saying? And there won't be that same intrigue of potential of what he could be. So that's why I have him, at 30, and that's the biggest difference. I mean, he is an older prospect, even though he's a run and dunk guy. But like I said, I do like him. I do think he can put the ball on the ground at times. I do think he can make plays in a short row for himself. The motor is good. It's not great. Was it a V8 motor, not a V12? V6? I'm not really a car guy. Not a V12 motor. But I do like him. I think he's got good hands. He will dunk everything.
V12 motor is like TJ McConnell.
Yeah, but even at the big, what big has a V12 motor?
A big with a V12 motor?
A run and dunk big with a V12 motor.
Lively,
Daniel Gafford. Okay, so he doesn't have that kind of motor, but he's got a good motor, just not a great one.
I like Niederhauser, man. The thing I like the most about him is that he transferred up from Northern Illinois to Penn State, and as the competition got better, the numbers got better. So I respect that. Sometimes when guys make that jump up, especially to Power 5 or Power 4, their numbers, they don't necessarily increase. But I think Niederhauser is a guy that's going to look good, especially if he has like a really good NBA point guard. And if he goes to the Clippers, I mean, you couldn't ask for a much, much better situation. If I'm a run and jump big, I'm trying to get to LA with James Harden. I'm trying to play with Luka Doncic, and I'm trying to play with Trae Young.
Trae Young. And, maybe at 22, they entertain it. But I feel like Niederhauser has definitely, put himself in position to be a first-round pick. And I don't want to say I was the first, but he, I told you. Jay. Go ahead, Rob.
All right, let's read some of these comments. When I see Yanic, Konan, Niederhauser, I see Josh Boone as a floor, which is worrisome. All right.
Light skin comparisons, man.
Explain that, Josh Boone.
That was so long ago. Explanation for the Josh Boone comparison.
He says Hayes may be scaring people off. Mike Thomas says Hayes may be scaring off. Hey, man, people love Jackson Hayes for about that month. In was it January or February when Luka first got there?
Oh yeah. That honeymoon period.
By the end of the season, people were off Jackson Hayes. Either that or people were mad that JJ Redick didn't play him. But yeah, I agree, Mike Thomas, that Niederhauser would fit nicely in Atlanta. But it's 22. That might be a little bit high to take him. But yeah. All right, Mike Jones. Shout out to Mike Jones.
Long time.
281-330. What's the number? 281-330.
You said that number still work.
Anyway, where's Abdallah's going to college at? Everything is leaning towards Virginia Tech. So, Cooper flag info. Yeah, Locked On Mavericks. You got to wait towards the end of the stream to get the Cooper flag. We only at pick 30.
Let's go to the next pick, Rob.
8004. That's the last 4 digits of Mike Jones' phone number. All right. At number 29, you got the Phoenix Suns going with Ben Saraf. You say he's a big, crafty PG. Jump shot is a little shaky. What makes you think Ben Saraf is a first-round pick?
He had great measurables. I think he's a very good passer. I think that Phoenix needs basically everything that they can get because they need to go ahead and start that match. I do like Saraf. I'm gonna call him Saraf today because
Ben Buckets. He averaged 28 points a game at the FIBA U18 Eurobasket last summer, and that's kind of when he blew up.
So I think that he's very left-hand dominant, but he's very crafty as well. The jump shot needs to improve, but I do think that he can play alongside or eventually alongside Devin Booker. They need somebody that can give Devin Booker off the ball in a sense. The thing is that Saraf, his jump shot is kind of shaky off the dribble. Catch and shoot wasn't as bad, I don't believe, but he still has some work to do. But, I think people are going to look at him and see he's playing for Radio Farm Home and say that's that orange jersey that, tricked us with, Killian Hayes.
Yeah, we got to stop those just Euro to Euro comparisons, man.
What'd they say?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, but I mean, that's just because
Suns need a post guard, desperately post guard. So, what you mean? They need Andre Miller? What you need? Sam Cassell, post guard? Did you mean point guard?
I think Saraf has done enough to be a late first, maybe early second, depending on what direction you want to go. But I do like him in Phoenix.
Yeah, man, he had a phenomenal summer. My first time seeing him play, I think he was like 15, and I had some notes on him. And then he was a guy that I thought, okay, man, maybe down the line, maybe the college route. And then he just blew up last summer.
Let me say this about him. he's really a point guard. You know, like I know that, and it's not a shot at Egor. I do have questions about Egor playing point guard full time, but
Egor Demin for those that
Egor
don't
Demin,
know.
excuse me. But I really think Ben Saraf at 6'7" is a point guard in the NBA because he can actually he handles the ball, gets to his left hand, he's going to get to the rack, finishing at the rim needs to improve. But basically everybody at this draft, outside of Dylan Harper, needs to finish better at the rim. So I don't
know if he's a point guard in the NBA. I think he's a combo. I mean, I think he can run your offense, but I don't know if
I meant from the sake of handling the basketball with pressure. I trust him to handle the ball with pressure more than I do Egor.
Sure. He's definitely aggressive, uber confident, wants to get downhill, likes to get to his pull up. Is Ben Saraf coming over, or is he a draft and stash? Question from Brian Q. I mean, I think he's coming over. I mean, especially if he's drafted in this range, I think he comes over. Mike Thomas says Saraf didn't look as good today against Bayern Munich. Do you buy into the shooting long term? In fairness, Killian Hayes' shot has vastly improved from those Pistons days. Yeah, I mean, I buy into the shot. I think he's more so of a shot maker than shooter. And I think that, you maximize who he is as a player is if you give him freedom. If you think that he's going to be a guy that's going to shoot off the catch, I don't know. He's just
going to take some time for him to develop.
Streaky, but yeah, he's best. He's a 3-level scorer, but he wants to get downhill first. He wants to shoot the midi pull up second, and then the 3 ball is like his last option in a sense. But I like that. I love. I just love how he plays. I know my Heat are really tapped in with Saraf. He's the exact type of prospect that Heat have been drafting lately. You think so? I mean, Miami's not a team that drafts a lot of international guys.
Who got next, Ralph?
All right. It's your board, man.
Oh, my fault, man. Look, 28. Go ahead.
28. You got the Boston Celtics going with Will Riley. You say that he's a shooter. He has some playmaking, but he needs some muscle. Why do you like Will Riley in Boston, besides the obvious?
Well, you got to think. I don't know what Boston. This is interesting here. Boston probably needs. Well, they do need a big as well. I don't know if they're going to go in the draft for a big. Maybe they reach for Ryan Kalkbrenner. I know that's where a lot of the consensus has.
Yeah, but they usually want a guy that plays 5 out and that can
right, and exactly. They really want somebody to play 5 out, and maybe you kind of just have to eat that Porzingis contract for one more year. But with Tatum down, I do think that Tatum's down. They're going to have to move either one of Porzingis, I feel like, or Drew Holiday, just because that tax apron is high. And maybe you get your big there. But Will Riley can really shoot. Will Riley isn't just a stand in the corner guy, but he can actually put the ball on the ground in a sense where if you chase him off the line, he can make a play. He's a really good cutter. Really shooting he's probably a better shooter than he was at Illinois. And again, long term, he's extremely young, extremely skinny. I think he does need some time to develop. But I do feel like, if we're going to try to replicate that 5 out offense, you're going to need some shooting. And I think Will Riley in a few years gives you an opportunity to be somebody who can shoot. You chase him off the line, he can make a play for himself or for others.
All right, let me put y'all on some game here. We live here, so I'm gonna put y'all on something that I heard from little Birdie. So there was a workout in New Orleans on Wednesday, this past Wednesday. Liam McNeely, Will Riley, Derek Queen, Asa Newell, Egor Demin, and Nique Clifford.
Okay.
I heard Will Riley was giving out buckets. I won't say who, but they say somebody was eating all of those buckets on his head. So Will Riley at 28, I don't think he falls as far to 28. Not just saying just based off of that workout. I think Will Riley goes a lot higher than 28. But I did hear, I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say where I heard it from, but I heard that he was killing in that workout. And one of the things I like about this is that workout, I mean, you had guys, they had to have been competing. McNeely, Riley, Queen, Newell, Demin, Clifford. What makes that interesting is that the Pelicans pick at number 7. Only guy that I can even see in that 7 range is Derek Queen. Okay. Maybe someone really likes Egor at number 7. I think that's a little rich for my blood. But that's an interesting workout. And what I got out of that workout is the Pelicans must be looking to make a move to get another pick in the second round. All right, let's go. Let's go on to number 27. You got my man, Hansen Yang. I agree with you on this. No way the Brooklyn Nets should leave the 2025 NBA draft where they have 4 picks without Hansen Yang. So, let us know why you like Yang in Brooklyn.
Hopefully that guy's in here from last year that told me I was crazy saying Hansen Yang was an NBA player. I want to find him from last year. But Hansen Yang he's a basketball player. You saw at the combine day 2 what it looked like when he had, a day to adjust to the time zone, to the speed of the game. He can pass. You really didn't get to see him post up. He's got a mean post-up game. He really didn't have a point guard that could really give him the ball in that situation. But he's got a ton of talent on the block, passing. He shot the ball well. His biggest thing is, will he be able to defend in space? And I thought that, again, while it was a combine game, that wasn't the best of the best out there, but he did show signs. Like he blocked Michael P. shot off the glass. He kept and it was a really good sign. He matched up against Grant Nelson. Grant Nelson is a mobile 5 for whatever position you think he is. And he basically kept him in front. I think Hansen Yang is big time. And, he's going to take some time to adjust. Again, there's a language barrier. He keeps his translator on him. But I think he's a hooper. And, he worked out for the Hawks today, allegedly. They have the 22nd pick. He's a first-round pick for sure.
Hansen Yang is Timu Zach Edey from Mike Jones. I mean, shoot, you if he gets drafted late in the first round and he's half as good as Zach Edey, I think that's worthy of a first round pick. Josai definitely guaranteeing Hansen Yang. How many picks do you think the Nets actually keep in this? How many picks do you think the Nets actually make in this draft? From Alex Torres.
So they got 4 first round picks. Obviously, you keep the 8th pick. And then I guess the name of the game is, who can you get a 2026 first round pick for?
Yeah, if I'm the Nets, I may keep 2. I think the Kings are trying to move in the first round. I heard the Mavs are trying to move in the first round. I've heard the Hornets are trying to package 33 and 34 to get in the first round again. So I may keep 2, and then I may move 1 to get more picks down the line. So, but I'm not leaving Brooklyn without Hansen Yang.
Hansen Yang, he's staying. We're showing him a good time, all of that stuff.
I'm trying to read some of these comments. Still disappointed the Nets didn't give a promise to Neokas Abdallas. You see the vision, Orlando Allen. You see the vision. I'm the same way. I think if he goes to school, the rumors are Virginia Tech, you give him the keys to the offense, he's going to be a lottery pick. All right. Someone mentioned that about the comment about the Heat taking international guys. Yes, they took Jovic, and then they mentioned Pelle Larsson, but Larsson was a 4-year guy. Yes, he was international, but they didn't take him, fresh out of Europe. All right. The question is, we'll talk about Dink Pate later on. Actually, we can talk about it right now, man. We got time. What I'll do is I'll repurpose this and turn it into episodes with the ad read. So if you're still listening, Nick, if you're still listening, Nick Angstad, I'm gonna do an opening. I'm gonna put the ad reads in. All right. The question is, why isn't Dink Pate on any consensus mock drafts? Look, I know Dink. I'm a big fan of Dink. He just didn't have the year that people expected. And down in Mexico City, I think that the main appeal for Dink was he was a 6'7", 6'8" point guard. He showed a lot of ability to make plays out of the ball screens last year with the G League Ignite. I thought he was their best passer. He was the only one that can make a post-entry pass or hit the roll man. And Tyler Smith and Ethan Almanza. And it just seems like he went to Mexico City and was like, all right, I just want to show people I can score and get buckets. And so I think that helped. I think that hurt him a lot, because the main reason why people were intrigued by him was not the scoring. It was basically the same thing that people like about Egor. I don't think Dink is as good a passer as Egor, but Egor stayed within his game, and he's going to be possibly a lottery pick. I think Dink was trying to score. And I feel like if Egor came into college, man, I'm trying to get buckets, I think it would have hurt him big time. So anyway, that's my thoughts about
I
Dink. What are
think
yours, James?
I think Dink. I think Dink isn't the level of passer, obviously, than Egor. I think Dink is a better reactive passer than a set guys up and run the offense kind of passer. Meaning, like in transition, you get the ball, you push the ball up the court, he can make a play. In the half court, it's kind of like, he's still trying to figure it out. I don't necessarily have an issue with him in Mexico City as a Capitan trying to get buckets because essentially, like, you're going to have to, he can score, right? I think he did make plays, but his assist to turnover ratio was upside down, and the jump shot was like, up and down. And now you can sit here and say, well, Egor didn't shoot the ball well either. And that's very much true. But the level of playmaking between the difference between the level of playmaking between the two guys is there's a pretty wide gap. I think Dink cleans up the jump shot. There's a spot for him in the NBA because he's an athlete. He can create his own shot, cuts. I think he's a good downhill passer, again, reactive passer. I get downhill, I see something, I can make something happen. I can rebound, I can push the pace. I just think he has to figure out who he is as a basketball player.
Well, I mean, here's the problem, man. It's just hard to look past 26% from three, 58% from the foul line, 1.9 assists per game, and 1.7 turnovers. So
right, and on top of that, like you can even with that number, right? You can be like the jump shot just doesn't look pretty either. So it's like, it's going to be I feel like a harder sell for him. Whereas like Egor, like the jump shot looks good. He just didn't make shots and he isn't always assertive. Whereas Dink is like that jump shot just doesn't look good. And it's going to be a taller task to fix it. But like I said, if you close your eyes, 6'7", athletic, create his own shot, has the tools to be a good defender. He just has to figure it out.
Shout out from the 601 to various 601. That's Mississippi. I went to college in Mississippi. I know all about the 601. All right, let's get back on task. This is where we totally disagree. You have the Nets going with Nolan Traore at 26.
Go ahead, Rob.
I don't understand why you got him falling all the way down to 26, man. This is the same dude. I've talked about this. The same dude that gave Yakuchonis 45.
Right.
Same dude that led the ANGT finals in scoring. The same dude that led the FIBA U18 Eurobasket in assists. Same dude that had 18.
Hey,
at
and
the
he's also the same dude at that same ANG turnover that averaged like 5. He averaged like 5 turnovers a game too. I think that
he had the best assists. I mean, I've seen stats. I haven't backed it up, but the best assist to turnover ratio in this draft.
Yeah, but some of them EuroLeague assists are fake. Like you get an assist if you pass to somebody and they get fouled and they get free throw attempts. If he makes a free throw, you get an assist for that. You don't get that in the NBA.
I mean, but it's still an assist, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying like that if he has 5 assists in a game and 2 of those where he passes somebody and they get fouled, I'm not talking about an and one. I'm talking about you get fouled. Like they count that as an assist. You take 2 of those away, he averaged 3 assists. So if he's 5 to 3 turnovers, I'm like, oh, he's a 1.2 guy. But if it's really you take that away, it's 3 to 3. That's 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. I think he turns the ball over a lot. I think that when he's running plays, he's a good passer. I think when he's not running plays, I think he is wild with the ball. You can say the same thing about some of these other guys. But also like his jump shot off the dribble is bad. Like he subbed like 30%, I believe. And then he's just really predictable. There's a lot of talent there. And like you said, there are the flashes. Like he had that 40 ball shoot. If he would have declared for the draft after the Nike Hoops Summit, he'd probably be a top 5 pick. But, we got more film out there on him. And, he had that stretch in France where he just didn't look like a confident kid. So I think that, 20s is a good spot for him, at least for me.
I'm taking him higher than that. I'm still believing in it because, it's like, all right, if a college kid had a rough stretch and the consensus likes him and he finished strong, they're only going to talk about how strong he finished. But if it's another kid and the consensus doesn't like him because, like the bigger draft guys, the bigger platforms, it's like kind of follow the leader. All right, let me read some of the questions about.
But listen, real quick, Ralph. Like, yes, the assists are different in EuroLeague. If you just watch any,
he's not even playing in EuroLeague though.
No, I'm talking about FIBA ball, FIBA rules. What I meant to say.
No,
Like,
I get what you're
yeah.
saying.
But I'm answering the question in the chat. Like, yeah, like if I pass you the ball in the post and you get fouled, that's an assist. Even if it's like the bonus, I believe, like you get an assist for a made free throw, and that's just not how you do things there. So, like, I think you have to I don't think there's like a stat for like live assists over there, but that's how they count their assists.
All right, let's see any other questions. Speed kills. You can't teach speed.
You can't teach pace. Well, you can teach
That
pace.
made me question the frame rate for the YouTube video, but I'm still nervous. No, I like him, man. I mean, we saw the speed at the Hoop Summit. He was getting to the cup.
Yeah.
First step, blow by. No pick needed. Hey, man, just give me the ball. I'm gonna just beat you on this baseline. If he can draw two defenders, I don't care about whether the assist numbers are fake or real. He has what I like in a point guard, that is get downhill, draw two defenders. And I think he has the vision to be able to draw to kick it out to the open man. But he also can make some skip passes, some live dribble passes. If it's me, Traore is a lottery pick because I believe in what he brings to the table. All right, 25, you got the Orlando Magic going with Walter Clayton Jr. Even with the Bane acquisition, you still need shooting. Do you think that Walter Clayton is a shooter or a scorer?
I think he's a shooter. I think so.
He's a scorer.
I think he's a scorer, but I do think his scoring is a lot of his scoring is going to be like jump shots. He's a shooter that can score. There is a difference between a scorer and a shooter. There's a difference between a shooter and a scorer. I think he's a scorer. This sounds like I'm rambling like the Jules Santana gift, but he can score and he can shoot the ball. So what I'm saying is, remember, we talked about this, Ralph, like I'd get rid of Cole Anthony, and they end up getting rid of Cole Anthony. But yes, you got Bane, but that's one shooter. You need another shooter. And even if he's a shooter scorer, I do feel like in that situation, like you're gonna play with Paolo, right? And I mentioned before, Paolo needs his Daniel Boobie Gibson. Walter Clayton could be that for him, along with Bane and Wire. Like they need guys that can stretch.
Dribbles. Boobie didn't need any dribbles. Boobie was
but it's a different game though, man. I mean,
but I'm saying, like, I think Clayton is a guy that I think Clayton is a guy that he needs rhythm. He's gonna take tough step backs. He's a shot maker. I don't know, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I don't know if he's the guy that you just say, all right, here, stand right here and catch and shoot.
I mean, what if he's on the floor in Orlando? What else is he going to do? I mean, there are going to be times where the rotations or whatever, he's going to have more opportunities to create for himself. But like, okay, if he's even in the same role as Cole Anthony, like Cole Anthony was out there trying to score. Cole Anthony was trying to get buckets. He just wasn't efficient.
How did that work for Cole Anthony?
I think Cole Anthony wasn't a shooter at North Carolina. He was a scorer. So I think Walter Clayton is a better shooter of the ball. So if you put him in that same Cole Anthony role, maybe it's a more efficient outcome.
All right, hold on. We got to stop the presses.
Go ahead.
Mike, this is trolling. Cooper Flag will be exposed when everyone realizes he can't make an NBA range three-pointer.
My man,
he shot 38% from three. Like,
shout out to Mike Jones for his consistent hating, man. Like, you've been hating all year, man. I appreciate it.
Yo.
I appreciate it.
Man. This dude is tripping, man. All right, anyway. All right.
We need more haters out here, man.
Man, I was on some other, like, I don't know, I forgot. It was like somebody else's YouTube channel, and I see my man Mike Jones on there with the consistent hate.
Hey, man, shout out to Mike Jones. We don't question your hate motor, that's for sure.
All right, number 24, you got the Oklahoma City Thunder selecting Noah Penda. Penda, man, I don't know, man.
You don't like Penda, man?
Man, he might be a jack of all trades, master of none.
But that's
I like
okay.
Dylan Jones better than Noah Penda, so I'm not. They're too similar to me, so I'm not gonna take another Dylan Jones, and I couldn't play.
I think he's a better shooter than Dylan Jones. I think Noah Penda,
a better shooter.
You talking about Dylan Jones, right?
You talking about Noah Penda?
Yeah,
Noah Penda. You think Noah Penda is a good shooter? Man, you must have saw like a month of stats where he was hot. Man, Noah Penda can't shoot, dog.
Nah,
He's shooting
man, what are you talking
30%
about
from three this year.
He shot what
He's
percent?
shooting 30% from three, 69% from the foul line. He ain't never been a sniper.
Nah, he must have got a high. Well, he did.
He had like a.
But here's the thing. All right, Rob. Before you go ahead and try to cut me up, you see what they did with Luke Dortz. I feel like that's one of those guys you just trust the process with. Like Luke Dort couldn't shoot to save his life like 2 years ago. And now he's making rainbow threes. I feel like Noah Penda, again, we talking about a jack of all trades guy. He defends at a high level. He can do a little bit of everything else. I feel like you just say, you know what? We trust our developmental process. So we can turn that. If we can turn Luke Dort, who was hooping in gloves his rookie year in the bubble, we can turn Noah Penda into a league average shooter.
But you got Dylan Jones to me.
Dylan Jones is a guy that needs the ball in his hands to get to be his optimal self. And I feel like Noah Penda can play off the ball, and that's what they need. They don't really need anything, but to me, that's what they were aiming for.
Hold on. I mean, he keeps baiting me into this Cooper Flag discussion, talking about Cooper Flag can't shoot, man. Mike Jones, we about to give you the attention you need right now.
He shot better from three than Ace Bailey, right?
Hey, he did.
Okay. That was his boy, too.
He did. He definitely did. It wasn't like Cooper shot 38% on a low volume. I mean, he wasn't Cody Williams out here where he shot 40% on limited attempts. Cooper attempted 3.6 attempts per game. He shot 38% on 135 attempts from three.
He shot better from the foul line than Ace Bailey, too.
And he shot 84% from the foul line. Like, all right, if you believe touch is an indicator of shooting, 84%, and he was getting to the line like almost 6 times a game.
Man, let's move on, man.
Yeah, let's move on, man. My man got that hating his blood.
He V12 motor.
At 23, you got the Indiana Pacers going with Danny Wolf. I actually like this fit. I like, he brings some size. He rebounded on the college level. Rick Carlisle was creative, a very creative coach.
Hey, so him and Obi Toppin would be like as your backup bigs would be like
what is
tough.
That, 5-4.
Yeah.
Pick and roll.
5-4 pick and roll. Yeah, that would be tough to handle.
Yeah. So I like that fit there. Do you think that he needs to tone it down a little bit? Because he's a high risk, high reward passer.
Yeah. You got to chill.
The main appeal for him is the passing, but if he turns it over a lot, you think Carlisle, who's not known for playing rookies, really gives him an opportunity? Because when I watch Danny Wolf, I'm like, dang, he threaded the needle on that pass.
Yeah.
And then maybe 2 possessions later, I'm like, dang, hit that lady in the 8th row.
I told you when we first talked about it, he was like Jameis Winston, man. Like, he's going to get you 30 touchdowns, but he's going to get you 30 picks. Hey, really quick, I want to answer this question up. Josue, how much do you guys think the measurements of Joan Berginer and Hugo Gonzalez helped themselves? Hugo is a monster with being 6'6" with a 6'11", weighing 220. All right, so Joan Berginer. I had somebody tweet me or at me or whatever it is on Twitter. Joan Berginer. Me bad. He is raw. And I get the measurements, but like he's like when they say he's just learning how to play basketball, like he's really, really just learning how to play basketball. If you watch him shoot a jumper, he shoots a jumper like a kid that just picked up a basketball like 3 days ago. But he's a play finisher, dunker. I don't necessarily think the measurements, if you're a measurements kind of person, they do help. But I mean, like, we saw him in Dubai last year, Raf, 6'10", he was 6'11", and he was athletic and he was rebounding. Like, I don't think measurements sell you more on him. It's just a matter of, is a front office, is an organization going to be patient with his development? And could he end up being like Clint Capella? Absolutely. But he's just really, really raw. As far as Hugo Gonzalez, I don't care what his measurements are because he can't shoot, right? And that's his biggest issue. He's extremely athletic. He's talented. He gets to the bucket. He's got a great frame. Like you said, 6'6", 220 is great, but like his jump shot is just really, really, really shaky right now. And that's why I have him as a second-round pick.
I mean, the crazy thing about Hugo is, and I've been following the 2006 generation for a while, he was the top dog. He just unfortunately played in Real Madrid where he wasn't going to get minutes. He's a guy that I think that he could be like the wild card in this draft. He could be penalized because he didn't get an opportunity to really play. But he's won almost at every level, and he's super competitive. Like, he's not a guy you have to worry about as far as like his competitive fire. The jump shot is in question, but the thing is, we don't even know if he got better because he was playing such spot minutes.
Yeah.
But the thing with him that I believe with his jump shot is he needs like a lot of minutes. Like, he's not a guy that you can bring off the bench cold and he stands in the corner.
Nah, he definitely can't.
He needs to go to a team like Brooklyn where he's probably going to get a chance to play a lot.
I have him. I think where do I have him going, Ralph? I got him in the second round going to.
But I mean, it's almost like if you have him as a second round pick, you're basing it off of he's being penalized for his lack of.
I'm penalizing for his lack of shooting, not necessarily his. Well,
but if you look at everything that he's done against every single player from this 2006 generation that's currently ranked ahead of him, you can't tell me that these guys are that much better.
That's a fair point, but
he's just penalized because of lack of opportunity. So
opportunities is what we need to have a bigger sample size of what you can do, not just against your age group, but just like where you are.
That's what we judge college players on, just the age group. That's what we rank.
Age group is different though than under 18s.
But that's what we're ranking players on for 2026 draft because they dominated their age group.
Hey, but they going to college, man. They're not gonna go play for Real Madrid like he did.
So I think that Hugo's he's penalized. But Berginer, man. It's like when someone is ascending late, I think we tend to overvalue that. I mean, you can almost make the same thing, comment about Murray-Boyles, right? He's ascending late, and when you ascend late,
people. Yeah, but Murray-Boyles was on the radar last year. I mean, he was at Basketball Without Borders.
Yeah, but he wasn't really on. I mean, yes,
he was on the radar. He had a Duke offer too.
He was on the radar, but like, if he had been playing basketball at 9, people wouldn't be talking about him. But I think the main reason why people like him so much because they're like, oh man, he just started playing at 15. He's raw. And I get it. It's the same with Berginer. But I mean, when I saw Berginer and you were there, we saw him live. I wasn't like, ooh, this dude's going to be a first round pick a year from now.
Man, I had good notes. Like, man, I like his activity. But the main thing in my notes was like, man, he's a couple years away from figure it out. Just because like he grab a rebound and he bring the ball down to his ankles and little stuff like that. But again, the athleticism is athleticism is there, the talent is there. I just it's almost like just because a guy just learned how to play basketball doesn't mean there's like this really, really huge whatever of talent that is untapped. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I just think ESPN likes him a little too much for my. Hey, I get the appeal, and I respect everybody's mock and who they like, but I don't know. I mean, he could look better in the NBA. He could look a lot better with spacing, but again, he's kind of like he's like, I don't know. He's not a 4. He's not a 5. Well, he's a 5 in skill set, but is he strong enough? Like, who knows? All right, let's keep it moving. All right, at number 22, you got the Atlanta Hawks going with Drake Powell. You said he struggled in his role at UNC, but he may have more game than what he showed. I agree. I think the defense is good, but I actually liked him coming out of high school. I liked him for his offense.
I did, and that's what I thought too. I thought offensively he was going to be a lot better. They stuck him in the corner, and he had to play the 4. He's probably naturally a 3. But and I asked we was on the KOC podcast with Yahoo. I was like, the difference between Carter Bryant and Drake Powell is what? And people were like,
what's the difference between Carter Bryant and Hugo Gonzalez?
Hey, man, you asked that, not me. But I'm just saying, like, the difference between Drake Powell and Carter Bryant is what? Like, Drake Powell, Carter Bryant shot the ball well from 3, and he had more defensive counting stats. But, I mean, both of them were on, like, you have to do some, like, hieroglyphics to figure out that per-minute basis because they didn't play, like, high-level minutes. So I like Drake Powell. What'd you say?
You said Drake Powell didn't play high-level minutes?
I mean, it was sporadic at one point. It was more minutes than Carter Bryant, but like they'll say, or
he still played a lot of minutes though.
What do you say?
He still played good minutes.
No, I'm saying he played good minutes, but it wasn't like,
played 25 minutes a game.
He played 25
minutes a game. He was just playing the 4. I'm
Yeah.
gonna read these questions. Hold on. I gotta answer this question. Hakeem started playing at 15 and he led 5 slammer jammer. All right. This is where I want to stop you right here. There's certain guys that you just should never make a comparison to. One is Hakeem Olajuwon. He is a one of one. There will never, ever be another Hakeem. I mean, maybe the closest is Embiid as far as just late bloomer with those hips and the fluidity and all of that. But you will never find another dude with the just the fluidity and the hips and the touch.
There's a reason why all those times Dwight Howard was in Houston working out with Hakeem, it never looked like Hakeem.
He too stiff, and he didn't have a touch. Now, Hakeem is extra special, extra special. All right. Can y'all talk about Isaiah Hamilton? No, man, we're not talking about Isaiah Hamilton, man. We're talking about the 2025 NBA draft. I don't even know if dude is taking Algebra 2 yet. Come on.
All right, man, let's move on, man. 21, I got the Utah Jazz selected Asa Newell. I think Asa Newell getting a round, or I guess first batch of green room invites is a little bit wild for me, but shout out to Asa Newell. I haven't fallen this low. I just feel like he's a tweener. I feel like he is he doesn't defend like a 5, but he has a skill set of a 5, and his development is largely going to be able to depend on him knocking down jumpers as a stretch 4 in a sense. But again, if he's a run and dunk guy that can make threes, that's good. I just kind of worry about him defending 5s and rebounding on the defensive end.
Josue said, I was disappointed. Drake Powell was basically a corner boy this season.
I see you, Josue.
Corner boy. Yeah, Asa Newell. All right, I'm going to ask the chat this question. All right. I'm going to ask y'all this question. Nobody has been able to give me a real, definite answer. What is the difference between Asa Newell and Marvin Bagley? Bagley averaged 21 and 10 as a freshman at Duke, and he hasn't been able to really find a spot because he's not a 4, but he's not a 5.
He's not strong enough to guard 5s, that's for sure.
So what's the difference between Asa Newell and Marvin Bagley? Let's see. Bagley is more athletic. All right. Okay. Bagley was ridiculous.
Ace is athletic.
I feel like Bagley showed more offensive game. I mean, obviously the numbers point towards it, but I feel like Bagley just showed more.
I feel like hopefully the Bagley family isn't watching this, but I feel like Bagley kind of I think it was between the ears more so than a skill thing.
All right. So Mike, somebody else said that basketball IQ was way better. My man averaged 21 and 10 at Duke with no IQ. I mean, come on now. That's hard to do. So Bagley was a bucket. Like in hindsight, it's easy to say, man, how did he go ahead of Luka? But he averaged 21 and 10. Look, you can name all the top Duke freshmen that people are talking about, from Zion to Cooper. None of them had Bagley numbers, 21 and 10.
That's true. All right, Ralph. Number 20.
Hold on, I'm gonna see anybody in the chat. I think Bagley would have looked better on a team that didn't try to make him a 5. Well, all right. Well, since then,
but that's his best position. That's his best position. You know what? And this is why it worked for like a tweener of what's my man? John Collins, right? John Collins, not strong enough to guard 5s, but he developed a 3-ball. And he played with Trae Young too.
But Collins was stronger than those guys.
He had muscles, but he wasn't like he couldn't guard 5s, and that's why they had to move him to the 4. That's why he had developed that 3-ball. And even then, John Collins.
Does Asa Newell block shots like that?
No, not at all. John Collins was a better rebounder in college than Asa Newell too. But I'm just saying, like, John Collins as a small ball 5 for Atlanta, it was like 20 and 10.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know if Asa Newell is a 20 and 10 guy, even with a 3-ball. in that situation. And and John Collins he went 20, I believe, in the draft. So
Newell averaged seven rebounds per game, but I feel like his rebounding on the offensive end
carried that
is a lot better. I mean, I think the numbers are about the same, but you should be able to get more defensive rebounds than offensive rebounds.
20 Heat. I got Jase Richardson going to the Miami Heat. I like Jase Richardson. If Jase Richardson was 6'2", I just like Jase Richardson. I was at first, I was like, I don't really get it. And I know he's 6 foot. He had a 6'6" wingspan. I don't really, his vertical was good, but he's not like he didn't have his dad's athleticism, and that vertical didn't translate. He more like a combine athlete, but it kind of doesn't matter because he's a basketball player. And I like him in Miami because
he's from there. Well, he's not from there, but he went to high school there. He's from the area.
He's from the area. I'm telling Terry Rozier to beat it, and Davion Mitchell is a unrestricted free agent. So I feel like if you feel like Tyler Hero is your combo guard and you feel like Bam is your playmaking big, I would say he needs somebody better.
So I want to add something. I talked to somebody about Terry Rozier. I asked, was he done? And they were like, no, he's got game, but Miami and Spoelstra would not let him shoot off the bounce.
Well, he's done in Miami, so
he's done, but he was saying he could still play, but he's like he didn't understand why Miami traded for him when his game is as an off the bounce scorer.
I agree with that.
Game. That's everything that he's been his whole career, and then you put him there, and then you turn him into a guy that he can't shoot off the bounce. So,
but he's a rhythm guy, and
that's what I'm saying. He's a rhythm guy. You turn him into a catch and shoot guy, and now, he just looks terrible in that situation. Yeah. So,
well, I think Jase Richardson can be a catch and shoot guy in Miami, and I think he would be really good in Miami. I think that if he's definitely a rotation guard in Miami very, very soon if he's available for them
he's not a guy that I'm sold on, man. I got concerns,
man. Listen, if your only knock was, and again, this is a big knock, is that he's short.
No, my concerns is he a point?
He's a basketball player. I don't necessarily need him to be a point in Miami.
He's a basketball player, right? But I'm like, and I get the analytics. I know that he shot extremely well, just all over the floor. He didn't miss the floater. He shot the ball well from three. But I'm like, dang, do you take a 6-foot guard that you don't know if he's a point guard, which means you got to pair him next to a bigger guy that's the ball handler. And Miami can't make some sense there. But to me, he has a lot of concerns that you take a 6-footer who didn't really play point in college.
I mean, but again, we're in the era of if I got a big 2, a big 3, I don't need him to be my full-time point guard in a sense. I just need you to make plays when you need to make plays. And he can do that. But I don't need you to run.
Who is he going to guard?
That's very true. But at the same time, who is Tyler Hero going to guard in the playoffs? Darius Garland. All right.
So now you got Hero and Jase Richardson.
Hey, man. You got to figure that out.
But
you know what, though? I think Jase Richardson. We got to get Scotty. We got to get all those. I think Jase Richardson is going to compete on defense. I don't think Tyler Hero I just think he's food on defense regardless of what he does. I think Jase is going to compete. He had a plus 6-inch wingspan. He's a high IQ guy. I think he's going to be as fine as you can be at 6 foot. And I mean, we can sit here and say, oh, well, he's short, but Mike Conley is a couple years younger than me, and you can't necessarily, you can target him, but he's going to figure it out. He's going to play defense. Like my man Jose Sweat, I would have loved him in Orlando, Jase Richardson. I
like him in Orlando. All right, I'm going to read some of the comments. He didn't play point because he wasn't supposed to at Michigan State. No, I get that. Right. I totally get that. So you're drafting him but you don't know if he can play point. I've asked this question to multiple people. Did Michigan State put him in the best situation to succeed, or did Michigan State hold him back because he has more game? And depending on who you ask, because he wasn't supposed to be a one and done guy. He wasn't really on anybody's radar. So did they put him in the best position because I've seen it. Like, all right, first of all, number one, Michigan State guys don't usually be one and done. Like,
True.
I mean, so he caught people by surprise, and I've actually seen schools, and this is like irrelevant, but it is. But I've seen schools put guys in the best position to succeed. Like Texas Tech had a run a few years ago where Jared Culver tricked people. Zaire Smith tricked people. I mean, we saw Zaire. He was a 5 in high school.
He was 100% a 5 in high school.
He like was making enough three. I swear the rims at Texas Tech
magnet ball. That's what the kids is calling it these days. Magnet ball.
And the rim was bigger. What's my man's name? Jamias Ramsey was never really a shooter.
Yeah.
He shot well. So with that being said, I don't know. I mean, Jase is a tough eval for me. I think TJ McConnell in the finals. Yeah, TJ is. I mean, like
he competes, man.
TJ has a level of motor. Like, yes, he's skilled, but he's just totally like elite level motor and so on. All right,
real quick, Raf. Move on. Real quick, how much do you buy into the positive stats in terms of feel for Jase? True shooting percentage, assist turnover rate. I'm buying into all of those things because he's a basketball. Like he knows how to play basketball. That's why I'm not holding it against him that he's 6 feet. Like I think he's gonna be fine. I'm just not throwing him out there and say, hey man, go run my offense. Because that's something that you still need to develop. But he can be like for example, I feel like I overthought it with Jared McCain. Now he's shorter than Jared McCain, but sometimes, man, them 6'2", 6'3" dudes are just basketball players and they figure it out. I think that's what Jase Richardson is.
Okay, that's fair. Like I said, he's a tough eval for me. All right, here's one for you. All right, they might come at you for this one.
I don't care.
At number 19, you got the Brooklyn Nets going with Egor Demin. So you think Egor falls out of the lottery?
Yeah, if I were in charge, Egor is falling out of the lottery. Egor, 6'9", might be 6'10" in shoes. We saw him, we met him, talked to him in person. My thing with Egor is the jump shot is still shaky. I don't care how many shots you made in the empty gym with unlimited attempts. Like, it's funny. I just scrolled on Twitter. They had PJ Tucker shooting corner threes. That man does not miss a corner three in an empty gym. NBA players don't miss jumpers in practice, right? Now, Egor is just not assertive enough for me all the time, on top of him having a shaky handle and a shaky jumper. I think Egor is going to be a playmaking wing. I think that again, I like Egor, but the thing is that summer league, his first summer league game, when that 23-year-old dude or that 25-year-old that played in Europe last year sees Egor, he's guarding him full court, and it's not gonna look nice because I just don't think
I was there.
I don't think his handle's gonna look good.
I was there when Jimmer was playing, and I can't think of my man's name.
They played Charlotte. I know they played Charlotte, the Charlotte Bobcats at the time. His first summer league game, and when I tell you that dude, Jimmer's point guard license was gone after the first quarter of a summer league game. That's just kind of what I fear for Egor as far as like a ball handler.
He was like 5'5". I forgot the dude's name, but couldn't nobody bring the ball up court on him. I forgot the guy's name. He played in. Anyway, I was there. Man, he turned Jimmer so many times at half court. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Thomas Robinson started running a point. Like, man,
and that's how you knew it was bad. Yeah, and I'm not going to shout out my man, but dude we know was on that team, and he was like, man, I'm not getting any part of that. I'm running down the court. I'm running to the corner because I'm not getting paid. They're not asking me to dribble. But I just feel like, again, Demin is talented. I think he's the best passer in this draft. I think once the jump shot comes along, he's going to be fine. I just think that the handle is really, really loose, and there's also a lack of assertiveness that just kind of worries me. So I have him going to at 19, and I think this is a good spot for him. I mean, like, obviously these kids, families, all of that stuff, your agent, they want to get you, high draft pick. It looks good, but like you want to be in a good spot to develop. I just don't know if I don't think Egor is a full-time point guard because of the handle.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, summer league is going to be interesting because I do think that Like it was too many times this year where I saw the other team's defender was picking them up full court.
I'm
And to
trying
me,
to
that's
tell
like
you, man.
the ultimate disrespect. Like there's two things. There's the full court where you're like, it's Jalen Brunson. I got to wear him down because if I don't wear him down, that could be the difference between him scoring 30 and 40 in the playoffs. And then there's I'm picking him up full court because I think I can turn him a couple times. And if I can turn him a couple times, then it's going to mess up the team getting in the flow of their offense.
Man,
so I think for him, it's just he's got to be assertive. But I do wonder, like, can he bring the ball up court against Drew Holiday?
No, I mean, it's not even Drew Holiday. Like, Jose Alvarado is going to be in his shorts.
Yeah, that like a TJ McConnell, that guy that comes off the bench, that's his role. To
Mike Jones just said nobody plays full court press in the league. Yes, they do. Like you got watching the Pacers.
Well, he ain't watched the playoffs.
That's true. He watched.
But I mean, like they do. Like if they think the handle's a little shaky, like I know backup guards that tell me like when I get in the game, I got to change the tempo. I got to like have a good plus minus. So I'm going to pick up. I remember a guy told me he was like, that's what he did until he said he met this rookie named Kyrie Irving. And he was like, I stopped picking up full court after that.
Hey, a matter of fact, real quick though, like, look at what Jeff Teague said. If you get a chance to Google what Jeff Teague said about Lonzo. He said he can't dribble. I'm guarding him full court. And he said that in the preseason. He was like, I'm going to turn him. I'm not buying him as a ball handler. Like, guys can tell. And real quick before we move on to the next one, like, Bulls have Giddey, same. Josh Giddey is an aggressive basketball player.
Yeah, he knows he can't shoot. He's trying to push the tempo and play.
He's trying to push the tempo. Yeah. And he's crafty enough to he's going to get to the basket. He had that moment in OKC when he had his outside off the court stuff going on where he didn't have, but you see in Chicago, he's a totally different player. Before the expectations in Oklahoma City were high, like he's aggressive. That's my thing with Egor. So let's move on. Right?
Egor can back down any point guard. He's not watching Egor because Egor don't back down. But I mean, like you said, Jeff Teague came out and said it that they didn't think Lonzo could handle, and he picked him up full court. So I do think that it is. Like I said, I know guys that like. Especially a backup point guard in the NBA. That's the first thing he's looking at.
Scottie Pippen Jr. is guarding him full court.
Yeah,
you have to.
They got to like come in and change the pace. All right, let's move on. All right, at number 18, you got the Wizards going with Maxime Raynaud. I got Raynaud as a lottery pick, but explain why you have Maxime Raynaud at 18 and why you think he'd be a good fit with the Wizards.
So I like Raynaud. I said he was a first-round pick a long time ago, too. I just don't have him in the lottery. I think that, while I just feel like the defense, while he did show flashes, and he probably tell me, man, because of the schemes, I get all that, but we got to go with the tape, right? And he's an athletic big. I do think he's going to, and real quick, I want to shout him out. I tweeted this at the Combine. He was loud. So you can tell he's trying to beat those allegations of I'm not a good defender. But I'm saying that, like, I think even though I think his defense is going to ultimately be the determining factor of how successful he is, if he's a rotation big or if he's a starting big in this particular draft. So again, I love the offensive skill set. Love it. I love the dog, but I need to make sure that he can defend in space. That's why I have him going to 18. And if, depending on what the Wizards decide to do, you take him at 18 and maybe he can play alongside Sorber, because I think Sorber is legit on defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think Raynaud's higher. I feel like I've been talking about Raynaud so much the last few weeks.
Man, they said you on the payroll, Rob. They want to see the receipts, man.
Yeah, you can see the receipts because I ain't got nothing. I'm just sticking what I believe in. All right, at number 17, you got the Wolves going with Thomas Sorber. Sell me on Sorber. Sell me on Thomas Sorber.
Defensive motor, defense, athleticism in a sense, not measurements, very good measurements. I think he can pass the ball. He shot the ball like trash at Georgetown, but I do think he is a better shooter. I think the Timberwolves, you got to figure out what's going to happen with Naz Reid, because I think Naz Reid, even though he didn't play very well in the playoffs, he's set to get paid because he's just a talented, combo forward. And Rudy Gobert he's terrible on offense, good on defense. And eventually they're going to have to figure out their big rotation. what's my man's name on the bench that just be hooping that can't get in the game?
Who?
From they went to the G League from the Ignite program. I can't remember his name. He gonna dominate summer league this year. I don't know. I can't think of his name. Dark skinned dude from Canada.
Leonard Miller.
Leonard.
Miller?
Yeah. I don't know. Like he's just not gonna be in the rotation, and he's a scorer. He's like, to me, he's almost like Christian Wood, where when he's going to get his opportunity, he's going to be really good. It's just not going to happen. So I feel like Minnesota needs big, amongst other things. I like Sorber there and, defensive minded. And I do think he's a really good passer too. And it's just certain things you're just not getting at the 5 spot that Sorber does.
16% from 3.
He shot better in EYBL than that.
I mean, the 72% from the foul line
that's a good sign. Good.
I mean, you look at the defensive stats: 2 blocks, 1.5 steals. I talked to someone that works for a team, and they brought him in for a workout. And a lot of times, some of the assistant coaches for these teams, they don't know these players, and they really shouldn't. During the season, they're focused on their team. And so, if you're a young assistant coach, then your job is probably to play defense and so on. So a friend calls me. He's like, tell me about Sorber. I break it down to him. He's like, oh, a typical Georgetown center.
yeah, basically. But, I mean, I think he's good. Now, real quick before we move on, does the foot injury scare you with Sorber? It's the same foot injury that Kyrie Irving had, I believe. Toe?
I mean, foot injuries for bigs are always going to be scary. But I was concerned about Klingon early last year, because Klingon early in his sophomore year didn't look like the same Klingon that his freshman year. But he ended up being fine. But I mean, anytime you got a big, and Sorber's not a light dude, but anytime you got a big, there's always going to be some concerns when they have a foot injury, no matter even if it's minor or not. I mean, it could be the most minor injury, but it's just our mind always thinks big foot injury. Oh my God, but we'll see. I mean, I haven't heard any negative about it. I haven't heard any red flags. So we'll see. All right. At number 16, we're almost getting the lottery range. You got the Memphis Grizzlies going with Collin Murray-Boyles.
Yeah.
Explain.
Front court depth. Santi Aldama, unrestricted free agent.
Brandon Clark. Not the same player he was after that Achilles tear. I get it. And he's got to be at least 28, 29. Anyway, I feel like Collin Murray-Boyles. Say what? Just entering his prime. A couple years into his prime.
But so I feel like Collin Murray-Boyles, they add front court depth. Collin Murray-Boyles, not a shooter, but, if you have him and Jaren Jackson, even though Jaren Jackson don't rebound, but if you have them two guys, on defense with maybe a Vince Williams, that would be tough to handle, as far as, because Jaren Jackson's great weak side shot blocker, and then Collin Murray-Boyles is a very disruptive defender. But at the same time,
Collin Murray-Boyles on the floor with Zach Edey, that's gonna put Zach.
No, we're not putting him on the floor with Zach Edey. We're not doing that. Zach Edey's gonna play his 22 minutes, and that's not going to be alongside Collin Murray-Boyles. But I feel and at the same time, while Zach Edey moved a lot better than I thought he would, I want to say they're taking advantage of him in drop coverage. And in the playoffs, if Memphis is still trying to compete, and Collin Murray-Boyles, and you got Jaren Jackson, where you don't need to play drop coverage anymore, because you can switch that action. And we know Collin Murray-Boyles is going to he's going to rebound, so that cleans that up for Jaren Jackson. And then Jaren Jackson wants to shoot jumpers, and we know that Collin Murray is not doing that. So I think that it gives you a secondary playmaker. I like him more in this spot. I know a lot of people are higher on him because of the analytics, but he's a 6'4" man that can't shoot. And I still think there's going to be a cap on how high, at least how high I would take him, because he's just the limitation. And he's an at the rim finisher too. So that kind of scares me.
I can't get with it, man. The people that love Collin Murray-Boyles are the guys that watch basketball through the lens of a calculator.
But at the same time, though, I watched Collin Murray-Boyles destroy John Broome.
He did.
And that is what gives me hope in him in the NBA, is that, grab and go. off the dribble. We catch you in a cross matchup where, or as a backup big, he's getting a slower 5 on him. He can break somebody down, make a play. I think he can do
how
that.
high are you valuing that? Like,
I mean,
he's tough eval for me because he can defend. I mean, I've asked a lot of different people. Some people like him. Some people I've talked to like teams that are like, look, man, our analytics guys, man, they love him. They got him as a top 5 guy. Our guys that go to the games are like, man, he's good, but he don't fit what we're trying to do.
But that's why I got him at 16. Because it's kind of like, I mean, the analytics are great, and the film shows that, he is a disruptive defender. I am buying him off the dribble as a playmaking small ball 5. I just can't get down with that Draymond stuff. Like you said, Hakeem is somebody we should never compare anybody to. Draymond Green is somebody we should never compare anyone else to.
But here's the thing, like this is why
he did give Asa Newell work too. Yes, Mike Thomas.
But this is why, like, it's crazy to me because if a guy, like, people love CMB so much that people overlook some things that other guys are heavily criticized for. Right?
Give me an example.
South Carolina was 12-20 this year, and nobody has ever mentioned like he didn't win. Like, other guys can be like for example, all right, we'll use a South Carolina comparison, GG comparison. The knock on him was he didn't win, but his team was better. And South Carolina and Murray-Boyles was a sophomore, and they got worse.
Yeah, but I mean,
how many games did they win in the SEC? The SEC was tough. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it was tough, but his freshman year when he did get that buzz, they were second in the SEC. So it's like, I mean, they were trash, man. I don't necessarily put that all on him.
They had no one else. Okay, I get that. That's fine. But no other player that I can remember had a bad roster, and it's never brought up. Maybe they were bad. Maybe he was the only reason why they were somewhat competitive. But I'm just saying, like, if it were some other guys don't get the same pass. And I try to be as optimistic and as possible, just as optimistic as I can be. But it's just never brought up. Somebody even brought up to me, like, Jeremiah Fears and OU's record in conference play, and he wasn't really that good. But I'm like, but you got Collin Murray-Boyles higher.
And even then, like, in conference play, they were, sub 500, but like they made the tournament.
Somebody said Ben Simmons, they ain't win nothing at LSU.
He didn't.
But that LSU team was like at least in the running to go to the NCAA tournament. Like, it was the game against, was it Tennessee? They got smacked and blown out at the end when I guess the athletic director was like, yo, these cats is done, man. Forget it. But South Carolina, they was out of the race in like January.
Yeah. Let's move on, though. CMB is polarizing. He's probably the most polarizing player, I think, in this draft.
All right, at number 15, I don't like this move at all. I do, but I'm like, dang, man, my man Nique can't play, but you got Nique Clifford going to the Thunder at 15.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. Listen, Rob, I got Nique going because eventually Caruso's 32. Caruso is hooping, but Caruso's 32. Dort is on. He's getting paid, and I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking like eventually they're gonna have to pay all these guys, like. Basically, Jalen Williams and Chet are almost playing for. They're on a rookie deal. So
they're going to get 30% max.
They're going to get 30% max, and eventually, like somebody's not gonna. This team is not going to look the same in 2 years. I feel like Nique Clifford would be a good spot for them, and yeah, that's just.
I like the fit for him. I just, I don't like the fit for him.
I would never want to play for Oklahoma City, not because of the city, just because like that they got too many.
Not right now. I mean,
but they're going to draft somebody, Ralph.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to keep both picks. The Thunder have 2 picks. I don't think they're going to keep both.
Listen, if they're going to keep this pick and Nique Clifford is there, they're going to take Nique Clifford. Like it's
someone says Nique Clifford is taking Ousmane Dieng's spot for sure. Okay,
on the bench.
that means nothing. Aaron Wiggins, that means something.
But here's the thing: I think Nique cracks that rotation. I think he's that good. I think he gives you more than what Aaron Wiggins is good every now and again, right?
Aaron Wiggins is outplayed being the 55th pick. You know, people
For sure.
make comments last year like, I mean, what do you guys expect from the 55th pick in the draft? You guys are overlooking it with Bronny. No, Aaron Wiggins was the 55th pick in the draft.
Yeah. I feel like Nique cracks that rotation. I think he's too good. I feel like he might be the only person that I trust. Him and like Cedric Coward are the only people I trust in Oklahoma City. Anybody else, just go ahead and go to Oklahoma City Blue. Y'all not gonna play.
I mean, like, Aaron, like someone said, Aaron Wiggins just re-signed a contract, which, yes, he re-signed, but that's such a tradable deal.
Yeah.
It's such a tradable deal. I mean, I just think like with the Thunder, if they win the championship, then
they're gonna have to retool.
I mean, they're going to have to like.
It's too many guys, and they haven't paid their second and third best players.
Yeah, and I mean, you still got Topic, who's on a red shirt year. You got Dylan Jones. You got AJ Mitchell, who's good. It's just a very unique situation. We've seen in the past that they didn't pay the money to keep Harden and KD and Russ together. So I wonder, are they just going to pay? But even then, as a small market team, I just don't think they can afford that team. So I get like they're going to need some of their younger rookie skill guys to play. However, my question is, how soon are you going to get those rookie skill guys to play? Because you can't just, unless you just try to like jerk them, all right, you're going to play in year 3. And then your value.
Did they do that with Josh Eustace?
Yeah, they've come up with some crazy deals.
Yeah,
but
they can't.
anyway,
I'm just saying, Ralph, they can't keep everybody, and
they're
going to have to prepare for some stuff. So I think Nique would be okay here.
All right,
not my favorite choice, but go ahead, Ralph.
Right, here we are, 1 hour and 11 minutes in, and we're finally getting to the lottery. This has been fun. Let me read some of the comments. There will be a lot of playing time in OKC because there's no way they can afford all those guys. I don't know if a lot of playing time, some, but I don't know if there's going to be a lot. OKC has all those picks and decided to trade future All-Star center more picks on draft night. Yeah, I just wonder. AJ Mitchell up next for OKC. Yes. I like AJ Mitchell, but like I wonder next year what's going to happen because Nikola Topic, who they took in the lottery last year, like they got a guy they took in the lottery last year that is not guaranteed to even like crack the rotation.
Man, if I'm a team in the NBA, I'm calling Oklahoma City when this final is over, and I'm like, what's the asking price on AJ Mitchell?
Somebody say goodbye, Kenrich Williams. I think Nique will end up outperforming in the draft. All right, let's go to the lottery. All right, the San Antonio Spurs at number 14. If they keep this pick, I don't think they're going to keep it. You got the San Antonio Spurs going with Carter Bryant, athletic wing defender. Can't have too many of them. I talked at length about my concerns about Carter Bryant. But go ahead, explain.
I feel the same way about Carter Bryant.
Hold on, someone says, is Carter Bryant a bucket getter?
Hell no. Nah, Carter Bryant is a corner boy.
Game in the EYBL. He's a guy that my concerns are, yes, he looks good. He looks good. He looks the part. However, if your main thing is going to be a 3-and-D guy, I get it. But for some reason, when I think of a guy that's a 3-and-D guy, I think of a guy that's still going to be super aggressive and tough. And I've never seen Carter Bryant really, really, really aggressive on both ends of the floor. You know what? All right, people may think I'm crazy. There was a guy last year that went pretty high in the draft. In retrospect, everybody is like, "Oh man, I don't know how he went high," but everybody was high on him last year because
I wasn't.
He looked good. Very low volume of attempts.
That wasn't me.
He took 4 shots a game, and he was efficient, and people loved him because he had the measurables.
Not too fam.
He had the measurables.
I wasn't him.
He looked good analytically, but he would play like 28 minutes a game and take 4 shots. And then if he was on, he'd have a game where he was like 5 of 7, and then he'd have a game where he was 2 of 3, and everybody just loved him so much.
That wasn't me, Ralph.
Yeah, y'all know exactly who I'm talking about.
That's my concern with Carter Bryant. I get the defense, and I think his defense is good. And it may be. Here's the thing. I don't want to base it off.
Is he a great defender, or you love the body type? I've
That's
mentioned
what
it
it
before.
is. That's exactly what it is.
NBA
Because
scout, bear with me if you heard this story. An NBA scout told me, he says, "Hey man, I don't want him in our gym because when he comes in our gym, our GM is gonna fall in love with him. He's gonna be like, man, good looking kid. He's gonna look at the body. He's gonna just see how well he shoots the ball. And we as a scouts are gonna be like, hey man, he didn't dominate EYBL." And the scout said, he was like, look at him, man, 6.5 points. He was like, that's a 3, a layup, and a free throw. He was like, and
really
then I
quick,
look at
bro.
his numbers, man. He only had one game. It was the last game of the year. He was 2 of 10. But he had
Let
one game where he took more than 9 shots.
Let me ask the chat, and I'll go back and do my research myself. I don't remember a play where Carter Bryant guarded Cooper Flag, and you was like, that's a top 10 pick right there. I see the defense. I go back, and he wasn't playing a lot, which, whatever. When did Carter Bryant guard Jeremiah Fears and be like, oh, he can keep that little short guard ahead of him? I'm going to go back and do the research myself.
So why you got him going 14 then, man?
Again, I think that if the shooting is okay,
is he going to shoot enough shots?
I mean, he's a corner boy, man. They like the corner boys.
I know, but I'm asking you. This is your mock.
I feel like in San Antonio, we're good. We can develop it. We took Jeremy Sohan, who, was very raw on offense as well, and they got him shooting jumpers in these empty gyms now, and it looks all right. I feel like if we could turn Carter Bryant into a 36% 3-point shooter, and he is a good enough guy on defense, disruptive. I'm not saying he's going to be OG Anunoby where you turn in his offensive game that was super raw into a guy that can average 18. But if he can, make a couple shots here and there, like he's going to be a guy that benefits from playing on a really good team like San Antonio could be.
Cooper Flag at 30. I'm just saying that.
I gotta watch the film, man. I can't put all that 30 on his head.
And again, I'm just looking at the box score here.
Yeah,
I remember the game, but he took 10 shots, career high, 10 shots. 6 of the 10 were threes. He was 2 of 6 from 3. He had 8 points in 26 minutes. Cooper Flag had 30. Gave him a 30 ball. I mean, what was it? I mean, Cooper is good, but it's not like.
Nah, according to Mike Jones, man, Cooper can't do nothing.
Yeah, Mike, you love Carter Bryant. You talk about this, and you talk about Cooper can't do this, but Cooper had 30, and he was 3 of 5 from 3 that game.
Yeah, I just feel like
6 rebounds.
Here's the thing: you're gonna take a swing on a guy, and if he's there's value in being an off the ball play finisher, knockdown shooter.
Is he a knockdown shooter?
He
69% from the foul line.
Right. I'm saying though, if you can develop him to being a knockdown shooter and he's an off the ball play finisher, you got to think Wimmy's going to be drawing double teams at the elbow very soon. If he can knock down that 3 and he can cut and give you plus defense, then you would take it.
Is he going to shoot them? That's the question. Is he going to shoot them?
Raf, let's move on, man. We can talk about.
Is he going to shoot them?
He's going to have to. At 13, I have the Atlanta Hawks taking Rasheer Fleming from St. Joseph.
I like the pick, but they need more size.
They do need size. But
they need a footer.
They do. Here's my thing, though. Rasheer Fleming had the second best wingspan in all of the draft. We know he can make shots. He's almost got more of a skill set towards the 5 than a 4. Is he? He's like a more. He's not a footer, but he's more athletic, more fluid than Okongwu. And I think if you can't get that footer, right, a 5-4 pick, a 4-5 pick roll between Jalen Johnson and Rasheer Fleming make plays. We know Trae Young is going to get you in position to score 10 points a game. I like Rasheer Fleming a lot. I think he's going to be able to screen and dunk and be an athlete in space. He shot the ball well from 3. There's a little bit of ability to attack a closeout. I think he's going to be good. And if I'm Clutch and Rasheed Fleming, I'm like, man, please, Atlanta, what y'all need me to do, man? I bring donuts to Trae Young. Like, I can do it because that's a good spot for him as a play finisher.
Hold on. Someone says Barlowe brothers have inflated Yang and Raynaud's draft stock so much. So basically, you saying we got influence. Is that what you saying?
Hey,
like
man,
if
I see you fire fish.
I don't have influence like that to like inflate somebody's draft stock. So I'm just saying what I feel. But if if those dudes get drafted in the first round because of my draft stock, hell, if y'all see me post a picture with that 9/11 Targa, that's because
like for real, like yo, if I get Hansen Yang drafted in the first round, like you got to give me my props, man.
They said we're gonna get said Coward selected in the top 10.
Hey man, I'm trying.
If you're watching this.
Hey, hold on, Rock. That's a perfect
I'll see you
segue.
in a couple of weeks, but if you get drafted in the top 10, all I need is a Porsche 911 Targa. I already know everything I want on it. But if I got that much influence and you sign for what? I don't know. You sign for 15 and 18 guaranteed. I mean, the Targa might be 120, man. I mean, I ain't got that much.
Right. But since my man Mike Thomas brought up Cedric Coward, I got him going 12 to the Chicago Bulls. I've had him in the first round before the measurements came out. I think Cedric Coward in Chicago will be really good. He can defend and he can make enough plays. I think the jump shot is going to be good. I think Chicago, you guys, if there are any Bulls fans in here, y'all are playing Ayu DeSumo at the 3 last year. Like, we can't do that anymore. I like Cedric Coward a lot.
I want to talk about Fleming to the Hawks. I just think they need some size, man. I think like there's too much redundancy,
but you're not going to get
like an undersized. I mean, yes, he blocks shots, but
you're not going to get a footer at 13, though. You got to move some pieces. I mean, and until they move the pieces, I got to draft for what I got, bro.
Raynaud, Maxime Raynaud is a 7-footer.
I think Trae Young and Raynaud in defense, man. That's I can't do it.
I think, but Raynaud has the athleticism and fluidity to be a good defender. I mean, based off what he told me was that in his 3 years, he was there. He played under Jared Hass, and they taught him to wall up, not block shots.
I get all of that. I understand, but I can't do it.
All right,
I can't do it. I'm sorry, but yeah, I like Cedric Coward in Chicago a lot.
Let's go to Ced Coward at number 12. Someone said think bigger than a 911. I mean, a 911, man. I mean, like, shoot, if that's a 911 Targa, not just a regular 911, a Targa. And I get it for free.
Hey man, any car for free is a blessing these days.
Yeah, man, that'll be my weekend car. All right, let's go. All right, I might get paid. All right, Cedric Coward at number 12. Now this is what I'm really about to like. I'm about to grill you right here. Cedric Coward number 12, 3-and-D wing that can do it all or do a little more. We'll be able to defend 1 through 4. Explain more why you like Cedric Coward at 12.
So again, like I said, they were playing a 6'3" guard at the 3 for the majority of the season until he got hurt. Then they brought in Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter, not really known for his defense, good shooter. I think Cedric Coward gives you maybe I'm speaking a ill-advised blessing on him, but you see how it worked out for Jimmy Butler in Chicago, how he worked up. He started off as an energy guy, hustle guy, turned into a scorer. I think that Cedric Coward can have a similar role. I think that he's an underrated playmaker. I think the jump shot is going to be fine. And I think he's going to be somebody that fits in. And then you say, all right, we got Cedric Coward at the 3. We got Madas who competes at the 4 on defense. We do need our 5 for sure. But I feel like Cedric Coward he's the guy in Chicago.
All right. So this is your mock on how you would do it, right?
Correct.
You know I'm setting you up for something.
You can't really set me up, but go ahead, keep trying.
So you have Yakachonis at number 11.
Correct.
Do you like Yakachonis more than Cedric Coward?
No, I don't.
Why do you have Yakachonis going ahead of him?
Because I feel like the Portland Trailblazers have
used Cedric Coward.
They already have an abundance of wings in Portland. Shaedon Sharpe, 2-3. Tumani Kamara, all-league defender. Denny Avdia took a huge jump. 3-4-5, whatever, or not 3-4-5, I'm sorry, 3-4. Like, they're pretty set on the wing position. Eventually, you're going to get Jeremy Grant out the paint. He doesn't play past March. So,
but based off their roster, they don't need help at guard either. They still got Scoot and they still got Ant.
And that's the concern. But at the same time, you need a 3-guard rotation. And I feel like Anthony Simons, yes, maybe Orlando was an option, but I'm still about to move off of his contract because you're going to have to pay. I think Denny signed like a really, really team-friendly deal, right? But Shaden is coming up.
He should have just signed it. But, I mean, if you're going best player available, then you got to go with the guy that you believe is better. So if you believe Coward is better than Yakachonis, Portland's not in a position to where they draft him for fit. They got to go best player available, right?
I get that too, but also I feel like, I mean, if you believe that, Cedric Coward is a flash in the pan, I mean, there's still a lot of questions about him as a basketball player. I really like him. This is my opinion.
You believe,
but
you had to put your money on it, which I would
take. Who's going to be a better basketball player? I think there's
going to come a better player. You're the GM.
I think it's going to come down to the fit, though, Ralph.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the fit with everybody.
But I am taking Yakachonis, and I'm going to answer your question, Mike. Am I buying Yakachonis as a PG or off the ball guard? I think he's going to be a combo. I'm not really buying him as a PG. I have not the same concerns that I have with Egor Demin as far as somebody that we're going to guard full court because I don't think you can handle the ball like that. But I do think that he would complement a Scoot Henderson whose playmaking is still developing. I do think that Yakachonis, as a catch and shoot guy, eventually will be able to make, shots. I don't think that Yakachonis is why I have him at this spot here. I don't think he's your full-time point guard, nor do I think he's a lead guard. And
my concerns, man. My concerns.
But I've had these concerns. I had these concerns when he was making those step back threes. I just think he's a combo. I think he's somebody that I think he's a complimentary guard. And I think you can take a complimentary guard at 11, especially if you're trying to move off assignments.
All right, I'm gonna give my Yakachonis concerns, right?
Kasparovs is not a great passer because part of being a great passer is not turning the ball over. And if Kasparovs Yakachonis played AAU basketball and he averaged 4 turnovers a game, you wouldn't be calling him a high IQ great passer.
Kasparovs was absolutely terrible in March. He only had one game where he shot above 40% from the floor. And this is what concerns me. The Kentucky game, he had 6 turnovers. 6 turnovers against Xavier in the NCAA tournament. So that's 12 turnovers and he had 12 assists. So he was even. But one of the games he had 10 turnovers, 6 assists against Xavier. And then against Kentucky.
He had a 10-turnover game?
No, 10 assists. 10 assists, 6 turnovers against Xavier. 2 assists, 6 turnovers against Kentucky.
I'm answering that question not too, fam. Go ahead, Rob.
Against Maryland in the Big Ten, last game in the Big Ten, 6 turnovers. So in his last 4 games, he had 6, 6, 6, and 6 turnovers in his last 4 games. Then I got concerns about him being able to turn the corner.
I do too.
He gets to the foul line. He is crafty. He knows how to make you foul him. But I just felt like as the season went on, teams started sitting on that step back. They knew it was coming. Then he was jumping in the air, and then he was turning the ball over because basically they had his playbook. So I would ask different people about him, and they would basically be like one guy was like, well, he didn't have a role man. I'm like, the kid, what's his name? Morez Johnson, I think is an NBA level role man.
He had a pick and pop 5. He had my man that was at NAIA. He didn't shoot the ball well, but
Will Riley, who actually got a lot of ball screens. Like Will Riley had more pick and roll ball screens.
And he played with another ball handler.
So people say, oh, about his teammates. Like he wasn't like, he had other ball handlers on the team.
Was Illinois' roster more talented than Oklahoma's on paper? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as far as my man asked, about turnovers not or due to him not reading the game properly or forcing plays. It's a combination of both. When teams started blitzing him, he was jumping in the air to pass the basketball. And while he does do a good job of looking off defenders, there are times where he just doesn't look off defenders. He can lock in on the roll man. Do guys, all these kids have turnover issues in a sense where they're young, they're going to make plays that they're not supposed to make. I get that, but I feel like his playmaking in a sense is overrated because the turnover numbers are supremely high, and sometimes him turn the ball over because he can't turn the corner. And like, he's going to be a guy, again, I think he's a secondary playmaker at the next level, but he's also going to be a guy who'll fare better than Egor. But in a couple weeks, I think he's going to be a guy that they're going to be guarding full court too.
See, Mike Jones Mike Jones, he says Kaspar's gave work to the best teams. All right. Let's see. Kentucky was a 3 seed, 13 points, 6 turnovers, 2 assists, 5 of 13 from the floor. In NCAA tournament, Xavier, 3 of 11 from the floor, 16 points, 10 assists. We'll take that, 6 turnovers. Against Maryland, 15 points, 6 turnovers, 4 assists, 4 of 10 from the floor. Against Iowa, 1 of 6 from the floor, 10 points, 6 turnovers. Let's go by their ranked opponents. Purdue, 3 of 10 from the floor. He had a game against Michigan. He had 17 points, under 40% shooting. Let's see. I mean, a lot of his work came early.
Yeah.
But all right, Tennessee, when they were ranked number 1, he had 22. And there was an injury. There was an injury. Against Arkansas, he played well. But it was like after January, and I was at the Oregon game where he had like 16, 6 of 6 in a few minutes. After that, I don't think he was good against ranked opponents when the calendar got to 2025. But here's my thing, and this is something that you've mentioned before. When guards come from Europe, we praise their IQ. Oh my gosh, he's played pro. He's got all this experience. He's a veteran. He's this, he's that. So if you rate them higher because of their experience playing overseas, then he should have been better taking care of the ball. Like, he was top 5 in the nation in turnovers, I believe. And like I've said, he was not playing as the only ball handler on his team. He had multiple ball handlers, another first-round pick. Yes, he has a chance to improve Nashville's loop. I mean, we're just talking about it like right now.
Yeah. Everybody has a chance to improve, but my thing is this: just don't sit here like, he's such a high IQ guy. Like, in what other circumstance do we call a guy that's at 4 turnovers a game a high IQ guy?
Never. And that's the thing. Like, I'll tell you about us at NBA Big Boy, me and James. We just gonna call it like it is.
I say the same thing about Jeremiah Fears. That's one of my favorite players in the draft. Nobody's calling him high IQ. They say he can get out of control. He turns the ball over a lot. But Jonas, some people find ways to do cartwheels and say he's this and that, and he can improve. But like I said, for me, I think he's a secondary playmaker, not a primary playmaker. Let's move on, Ralph.
Hold on. GRT Britt said something that I agree with. KJ needed a screen to create anything. And that was my knock. Can he get in the paint consistently? Yes, NBA is about screen and roll, but I just felt like he couldn't consistently beat bigs on switches. And a lot of the turnovers were because he couldn't consistently beat bigs, and then teams started on the step back, and it just led to him doing a lot of up in the air jump passes and the step back. But at the same time, everybody talks about his great IQ. I think there's a difference between having a great IQ and being crafty. He's crafty. He knows how to, throw, he just knows how to keep defenders off balance. Excellent rebounder. Like, he's tough. There's things to like about him, but I'm just saying, like, I have my concerns, and he ended the season on a terrible note with 24 turnovers over 4 games. All right, Luka is a turnover machine. Yes, but Luka will get you 30 points.
Yeah, that's different. Real quick, Ralph.
Can't stop him getting downhill, but Luka may get you 6 turnovers. But he's not. I mean, there's no Luka. Like, you can't compare him to Luka because Luka's gonna make up for it by giving you 30. He might give you 40. He might give you 50. But here's the question: Mike Jones said, So why number 11 if you have these
All
concerns?
right, so number 11 again. I think this man sat back like Lil Mama on stage with Jay-Z. Hey, but I think he's a complimentary guard. I think when the ball is not in his hands as much, the turnovers will come down. I think he can be a table setter with less responsibility. In Portland, he's 6'6", he measured very well, right? You can play him and Scoot together. Scoot sits down, you can be like, all right, we're gonna run the offense through, Shade and Sharp. Or
As a Blazers fan, I'm worried about that. Even though Scoot, the numbers are respectable, but I feel like the numbers are respectable because teams are like, hey man, go ahead, shoot that. Go ahead, shoot that.
Hey, but I mean, Scoot is still a developing thing. Let's move on, man. Let's move on.
Hey man, this is we. All right, number 10, you got the Houston Rockets going with Con Kneppel. I know the people are about to roast you because everybody loves Con Kneppel.
Let's talk. Con Kneppel, knockdown shooter, very good in dribble handoffs, competes on defense. I don't care about his measurements that came out. Those are indeed measurements.
Has he measured though?
Yeah, he measured. He measured. He had a 36-inch vertical. Real quick,
I
had Wolf going to Indiana at 20 something. I got
23.
23, yeah. But Con Kneppel, I'm buying the shooting, and I'm buying the. I want to call him a secondary playmaker. I think the word that the nerds use is tertiary playmaker. But that's how I feel about him. Could he be like, I hate to say the white on white comparison, but like Bojan? Bogdanovich, the one that played for the Nets, not your boy.
Not my boy Bogey.
Not Bogey. No. He didn't have what Bogey got. But yes, shooting off the dribble is a concern. When we chase him off the line, he's not an athlete. He's going to compete on defense, but I mean, we still going to target him. And I think he's going to be good. And I like him in Houston, real quick, Ralph. I like him in Houston because they need scoring. And if you feel like they need shooting, And if you feel like, his defensive concerns are there, he's going to compete, but they got guys that are going to defend behind him. Houston, as good as you are, defensively, you still got to put the ball in the basket. They had times where they struggled. I envision Con Kneppel and dribble handoff with Alperen Sengun making plays. Now, they won't be lobs, but he can make that pass. First. Say what?
You got to get on the floor first.
Part of that is on the Rockets staff, man. You gotta. I mean, I don't feel like Aaron Holiday shouldn't be playing, bro.
Hey, man, if Aaron Holiday was beating out the number 3 pick, where is Con going to get? Con is not going to get minutes over Dylan Brooks. It's almost like the front office is going to have to like move guys out the way to let. Their
and here's another thing: like they're going to trade. They might end up trading the pick because they have a different timeline. I'm just saying this: if you don't trade the pick and you need shooting because you don't know what you're going to get out of Jalen Green, I have no issue with Con Kneppel at number 10. A lot of people are a lot higher than me on Con Kneppel, so maybe I need to go at them. I'm in his rookies, yes. He is a backup.
What's crazy though? You know what's crazy? Like, I mean, we just keep it real here. If Con Kneppel goes to the Rockets, I bet you he can't check Cam Whitmore.
But that's not what it's about, though.
I know that's not what it's about, but it is what it's about because cats in the locker room gonna be like, hey, man, he getting cooked in practice.
Right, but at the same time, Con Kneppel gonna knock down all those threes. Con Kneppel gonna hand out Gatorade when he's not playing.
Yeah, but you're not taking them that. If you do that, and if he's not playing, that means you got 2 guys that you select in the top 10 that are not playing. So I think the front office is gonna force him to play some guys. But I could see it can be a situation where Cam Whitmore would be torching him in practice. And now,
but we look at who can guard Michael Beasley? Who can guard Jordan Crawford?
No, I get that. Like, and I think some of the reason why those guys didn't stick in the NBA because it puts it on a tough situation on the coach because he's frying your starters.
But Cam Whitmore does not pass. Con Kneppel is going to move the ball. Sometimes that's just what we need. I don't care if I can't check you in practice. When you come off this handoff, are you shooting it every single time? Or are you going to hit our best player who happens to be Sengun? Just trade the pick for trade the pick to the Nets for Cam Johnson? Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
You definitely do that. You do that ASAP.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I think Kneppel, I think I'll just say this much. Now he does compete on the defensive end. I give him that much. He's tough. He's blue collar. I just wonder how good of a defender he is without Cooper Flag
Oh,
and
for
Molly
sure.
Welch
Hey,
behind him. Like if he
and
got beat off the dribble, he knew that he had some erasers behind him.
the spacing in the ACC versus the NBA is going to be totally different.
Yeah.
Hey, I totally get it. He's going to compete, though, and that's kind of like half the battle to me. I mean, he's got his athletic limitations, and again, he does not have any wiggle, which is why I have him at 10. Some people have him a lot higher. I'm not some people. But yes, Houston should trade the pick. Ralph,
yeah, like Konan is a guy that people really love. I mean, I'm seeing he can go as high as 4.
Not for me.
I got him going 12, and people think
That's
I'm
fair.
crazy. I think his best outcome is Desmond Bane, which would be great.
But here's the thing, though. I don't like that comparison because Desmond Bane can dribble the basketball.
I'm just saying,
like Khan has a 3 dribble limit, and that's getting downhill. Those are all downhill.
And I'm saying like
Bane can handle the basketball.
But as far as just like being a connective, I mean, Bane can pass, Khan can pass,
but Bane can play.
But Bane wasn't as good as Khan as a freshman. So
that's true. But Bane can play point guard in stretches. Khan can make plays. There's a huge difference between the two, to me.
All right. At number 9, you got the Raptors going with Common Maluouch, center of the future, undeveloped offensive game. I think that number 9 is his floor. I don't think he gets past number 9.
Yeah, I agree. And I had him higher, but I had to go back, I had to look myself in the mirror and say, you know what, run and dunk guys, I'm a little lower. Run and dunk guys for me start at 9. As far as like where I would draft him at. And while there is some Basketball Africa tape of Common doing some other things, will he be able to do that? I don't know. So run and dunk guys, I'm taking them about 9. And here on out, we'll go from there. So I'm
reading the comments. Hold on. I'm reading the comments. I'm actually kind of shocked that I guess like our audience is a little different than Twitter. Like some of these comments are kind of tripping. Con Knepp will be a second rounder if he played at Oregon State. I think that's pretty wild. Mike Jones says Con will body you. He will dunk on you. I think he had like that one. It was crazy. He had one dunk, or maybe it was a missed dunk against Army, like the second or third game of the year.
Army?
It was very early, and I was like, okay, maybe Con got more bounce than I thought.
Hey, no, there's
nothing else the rest of the year.
I think it's him. He caught a body in high school where it looked like he jumped off a trampoline, but
I think he's a decent athlete, but it's like you give him a runway, then he's gonna get his launching pad, but that quick pop.
No, he don't got that.
He was always. He had the 2 feet finish, which is totally fine, but he didn't have that quick pop where it's like he jumped up and finished. He was. I mean, Luka doesn't finish like that either. He's like the flat 2-footed, but Luka has a little bit of craft to his game.
Let's move on, Ralph. Number 8.
All right, number 8. You got the Brooklyn Nets going with Noah Singay.
Yes, Noah Singay. I like Noah Singay a lot. Me and Ralph, we were on the Noah Singay train a long time ago.
I think the lowest I've had him all year is 11.
I think mine was like 13 at one point. But Noah Singay, I think he's raw, but I think he will be productive from the jump. Now that productivity, it's not going to be 13 and 8 right away, but eventually he can be I don't think he'll be 13 and 8 right away, especially in Toronto. In Brooklyn. He might be 13 and 8. Dang. But I like him. I think that, he's a play finisher right now. He's skinny, strong. He's tough. I think that you buy on his upside. He's extremely young, and he can put the ball on the ground. In spurts, he's going to need some more side to side, but he's a play finisher. He's going to play hard. And if he's in Brooklyn, he's going to get an opportunity to play. I like him a lot. He might be somebody that goes a little higher than this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I like him just because I said very productive at any level. I mean, what do you have the game we saw? Like 33 and 17.
Missed a
Just
bunch of free throws.
so Noah Senge, Sean Livingston
We're just
comparison. I
comparing
mean,
light
that's
skinned
just
people,
based off
man.
of body type. Like they don't
Yes.
play anything alike.
Nothing like. Hold on, I have one for you, Ralph. Hold on. Somebody said. Before we get on Senge, James is a shooting switching upside to too theoretical. I can read it's just late at night. For Common, I think the shooting isn't theoretical. I think the switching is though. But I feel like Common's just he's gotta lock in on that glass better. He had that bad showing at the end of the year where he just might have like one rebound or something like that. I do think Common, is a better on the ball. He's a better weak side shot blocker than on the
He's
ball.
not a great shot blocker. I mean, the appeal for him is what he can be.
I think he might be a guy
great rebounder. He doesn't like a great shot blocker.
Yeah. It's a lot of ifs.
It's some ifs. It's definitely some ifs. But he's a guy that I imagine in a one-on-none workout and he's knocking down threes.
Yeah, for sure.
Hold
on, a couple of things about Salon real quick. Or Senge. Senge is G League Pascal. You know what?
Pascal started off in the G League.
That's you cracking a joke, but somebody's gonna be like, we might be able to turn him into a Pascal type player where it was just motor energy, and then we get some more skill behind them. And then the Senge hype reminds me of Salon from last year. I wasn't high on Salon last year. He didn't. Really
I think Salon is way more raw and
way raw.
Only shot threes.
Yeah. He only shot threes.
The athleticism and he shot threes. Like to me, they're totally different players. I don't even know if they were both French, they would even be compared to each other because
real quick, Rob, I think Salon's athleticism wasn't like game functional though, because he needs a clear path to show you his athleticism. Senge is going to show you athleticism. He's going to screen, he's going to roll, he's going to try to dunk on everybody, even though he's like 190 pounds. Senge is a better player.
Senge is the skinny white guy from OKC. So let me think. If you don't know who Chet Holmgren is,
or is he talking about Poku?
Oh,
Poku was a skinny white guy.
Talking about Poku.
He gotta be talking about Poku.
But Poku, I'm gonna tell you the difference. I was at the tournament when Poku blew up, and this is one of the best stories ever. So I'm at this tournament in Greece, and Poku has a triple-double, and it was like the tournaments, the venues was like one was up a mountain, one was like down a mountain, and you had to like drive and wind to get up this mountain. So they had this gym that had no AC. Poku has a triple-double. The next day, every scout is in the one gym at the top of the mountain that had no AC. We in there sweating. I'm talking drenched. My man does warm-ups, and they played Franz Wagner and what's the kid's name? Huck Porty that plays for the Knicks now.
Mm-hmm.
Poku plays like 3 possessions and sits out. So we like,
shut it down.
Is he hurt? And then he's on the bench and he's like, doesn't look like he's hurt. He's like dribbling the ball and in the chairs. They line up for at halftime. And, the team walks out, no limp. Like, he's not hurt.
He quit?
I don't know if somebody made the phone call and was just like, hey, man, your stock is as high as it's going to get. And maybe whoever was managing him knew that Franz was that dude, but he literally – and then he didn't play much for Olympiacos in the second division. Poku tricked –
Nah.
Think about it. If Poku tricked the Thunder –
he was going to trick anybody, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the signs were there, but – I mean, everybody was intrigued by him, but so with that being said, Senge competes. He's actually playing. Poku did not play his last year. He played, but he was playing like second division Greece. So Senge is totally different.
Yeah. Number 7, Ralph, let's go.
Man, you act like you got something to do tomorrow, man.
Actually, I do. All right, number 7, I got the New Orleans Pelicans selecting Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma. I think this is a great spot for him. Oklahoma. The Pelicans need a point guard. DeJounte Murray got one Achilles. CJ McCollum is too much of a combo. I'd probably try to trade him sooner than later because you can get a pick for him. And I feel like Jeremiah Fears, him and Zion, you want to talk about rim pressure. Now, Fears definitely needs to improve as a shooter and decision making needs to improve, but he played the entire year when he should have been in high school. And he is a leader. His teammates will tell you, we gave the ball to the kid. He wasn't gifted anything like Ross said. Game 3, game 4, he starts all the way. I feel like Jeremiah Fears' highs are as high as anybody who should be, you know what I'm saying? Like these guys here, like they have highs. He had the Arizona game. He cooked Arizona in the Bahamas. He's talking trash, baggy t-shirt and all. We saw what he did against Michigan, game winner. He had a rough stretch in the SEC. But again, when they needed these games to even get into the tournament, he had a big game against, I believe it was Mississippi State. They should have beat UConn. He missed some layups. Guys couldn't make shots, but he's extremely talented and he's young for his age. And like he just has it. Jump shot obviously needs to improve. I think the finishing will improve because you can't keep him out of the paint.
This is why I'm buying all in on Jeremiah Fears. Every other guard in this class, whether it's Demin, Yakachonis, these guys were given the keys from day one. Fears wasn't. Oklahoma hadn't made the NCAA tournament since when? Trae Young? I don't know. They hadn't made the NCAA tournament in a while. The SEC was tough. You can look at the numbers and all of this. I'm going off just stuff that you can't teach. Young freshman isn't given the keys. Comes in, third game. This my team. Hey, y'all singers, I know y'all been here for a while. This is my team. I'm going to carry y'all. He carries the team to the NCAA tournament. I mean, Jalen Moore he should be a two-way guy. Didn't have another NBA level guy on his team. I mean, he had to carry them. Like he literally had to carry them to the NCAA tournament. He saved the coach's job. I don't even know if the coach would have a job right now because he hadn't made the NCAA tournament. Fears has the speed. Yes, he's a little small, but if you look at him, he's strong legs, big hands. I think the frame is going to be able to fill out. The inefficiency at the rim, he got there. He got knocked down consistently. That's the thing. Like, I don't know if the stats are going to tell you that you got this young freshman guard that keeps attacking the paint. He's getting knocked down. He's getting beat up, and he keeps attacking. They at the free throw line talking trash to him. He's barking back. That's stuff you can't teach. The shooting, 85% from the free throw line. If you believe in shooting touch, if you believe free throw shooting is an indicator in shooting touch, then you got to believe that he is going to be a better shooter. But if you look at some of the shots he made, like he was creating his own offense. He was throwing a little 180-pound frame around, bumping guys, creating contact. I think he has everything it takes to succeed.
Yes.
One game I saw him get 2 feet in the paint, 8 possessions in a row.
I saw Oklahoma State. Now they had no pros. I saw Oklahoma State guys look at him and was like, nope, not guarding him past the 3-point line. Can't do it. He's gonna blow by me. I saw Kentucky feature Otega Owe. Supposed to be a very good defender.
Wait. You talking about the same Otega Owe that was locking the Yakachonis up? That same dude?
It can't be too many Otega Owes running around these basketball.
I'm just making sure.
But I saw Kentucky. Hey, Ralph, I'm just chat. I know a coach on the Kentucky staff, and it was like, yo, Fears, he was scary.
The same. I mean, like he had 28 that game. Yes, he was 2 of 11 from 3. That doesn't look good, but you take away those 3-point attempts. He got to the free throw line 7 times, but they couldn't check him.
Nobody can. And listen, Ralph, you want to talk about no screen? Look, Pune, and those assist numbers are going to go up.
Fears offensively gave me D-Lo at Ohio State flashbacks. Okay, all right, because I mean, Fears is super fast, and D-Lo is all about pace. D-Lo was an exciting passer.
For sure.
At Ohio State. But anyway, go ahead.
All right. At 6, I got the Washington Wizards selecting my man, my favorite player.
When it came to Fears, always said, no way.
Man, listen, I'm trying to tell you. Hey, man,
he had, real quick, man, I ain't done talking about Fears, real quick. We had to carry them. These are just some of the stats. And at the last part of the season, against Missouri, 31 points. He had a game against Texas where he was only 2 of 14. 29 points against Georgia. They needed that win. Got to the foul line 12 times. Against Kentucky in the SEC tournament, 28 points. Got to the foul line 7 times. Against UConn in the NCAA tournament, 20 points. Got to the foul line 8 times. Like 8 times. So, I mean, that's rim pressure. That's rim pressure. I think he's a much better passer. Like, you look at the assists. Okay, yeah, he averaged 4 assists a game, but who is he passing it to? I mean, you got to be a die-hard college basketball fan to know Oklahoma's starting 5. I know Jalen Moore.
I know Jalen Moore.
Elvis or something like that.
Yeah, young boy. But his bigs, I don't know their names. No disrespect to them.
Yep.
But, yeah. So, I want to move on because I can talk about fears all day. I told you guys in December. I told you Raf laughed at me. He's not laughing at me no more. We're here. Wizards, I got them taking Derek Queen. I like Derek Queen a lot. I think Derek Queen in Washington, D.C. is a match made in heaven. Because if you have concerns about Derek Queen on defense, I'm 100% buying Alex Sarr on defense. I have questions about Alex Sarr on offense, but I don't have questions about Derek Queen. Derek Queen can hoop. That's just point blank period. I wish somebody would ask me about his combine numbers. I don't care about his combine numbers. He's a basketball player. Don't care if he can't jump over a sheet of paper. He can hoop. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I had him video him 2 minutes of him switching on the perimeter, playing defense. He sat on one of them Yakichonis crossover step backs. He's got great hands, great IQ on defense. He just has to bring a defensive motor every single night. And I feel like him and Sarr is what today's NBA, your 2 big lineup, what you want it to look like. Queen is going to be able to grab the ball, push it up the court, and find guys. He's going to be able to run offense into DHO. He's going to be able to kill switches. You can give him the ball anywhere on the court. And I feel like he's going to be able to knock down threes at a respectable rate. Like, Queen is legit. Go ahead, Rob. You look like you're reading something.
Yeah, I'm reading some. Hold up on fears, Barlowe's. Why do these Twitter nerds have fears ranked in the 20s when almost every draft expert
hold on real quick.
Has him in the top 10?
Shout out to Ben Pfeiffer. He's got him in the top 10.
Yep.
Some of my guys that know ceilings have him in the top 10. I mean, you know, there's some people on Twitter, some of the guys, they mess with fears. But go ahead, right?
All right, here's my honest answer about draft Twitter. I like a lot of those guys. Footage is harder to come by than
for sure.
Data. So if you don't have synergy, then you're kind of limited to, unless you're just going to watch a lot of film. So I think that because data is a lot easier to come by, maybe you can go on Bartorvik and pull up all type of queries. But I think there's some things that analytics and data won't tell you. Analytics is not going to tell you that Jeremiah Fears wasn't the starting point guard. Analytics aren't going to tell you that every time he got knocked down, he got back up talking noise. And that same big that knocked him down, he came and initiated the contact on him the next play, drew a foul, and now that big is backpedaling. Like, it's stuff that analytics aren't going to tell you. So I think a lot of the people on Twitter really value numbers, because if you look at most guys on Twitter, their mocks, they're going to have Collin Murray-Boyles in the top 5, top 10. So, but yeah. So, and I think like back to Derek Queen. I like the Washington fit more. I do like to fit more. And as far as Queen at the combine, like, come on, man, you got to put 9 people on the floor. You got to put some butts in the crowd. You got to turn some lights on, put some refs out there. You're going to see the best of Derek Queen.
Put anybody on him, he is scoring.
I will say, man, like, he was terrible at the combine.
He was smoking hot trash for sure.
Like, we talked to him briefly after he ranked, like, I think it was like 55 guys at the combine. And when you look at the jumbotron, I got the pictures. It had to go like page 1, page 2.
Yeah,
page
he was back there.
He was like 53 out of 55 almost in every single category.
I'm not saying he's him, but you know who else would probably have a terrible combine? Jokic.
Yeah. My man Zach Randolph would have had a terrible combine.
Yeah, some guys just
and Tyrus Thomas would have had an excellent combine. That's why he went like number what?
4.
4?
Yeah, combine, like, and even then. So There's no knock on Collin Knipple. Collin Knipple, they did his measurements 36 inches vertical. When have you ever seen him use a 36-inch vertical?
Well, Jase Richardson was 38.
38. Cooper Flag had like a 30.
This is how I know the combine is absolutely terrible. Cody Zeller had a higher vert.
Oh man, you got on me for talking about Cody Zeller last time.
Griffin. Well, you because you was dissing the family. You was talking about the sunroof and all that. But Cody Zeller, I think Steph Curry had a higher vertical, or at least his vertical was like similar to Cooper Flag's. So,
and at the same time, like man, Cooper Flag down there, he's gonna dunk on you. Collin Knipple in shorter vertical, he's not gonna dunk on you. There's playing vertical, and then there's combine vertical.
That combine was not gonna tell you about that vertical pop.
Nah, and the combine is not gonna tell you that Derek Queen beats guards off the dribble. The combine is not gonna tell you that he's got great wrong step footwork in the paint. Like you're not gonna get that from the combine. Just roll the tape. And like I said, I feel like if you have defensive concerns, which some of them are valid, put him next to Sar. Sar moves his feet. Sar's a shot blocker. Sar's a very good defender. So yeah.
Someone said that Dog Connect had Vince Carter like numbers. Yeah, I mean the combine is. I mean, I had a friend of mine that told me, talking about combines and workouts, and he was saying like he had a workout with a team, and he said in his workout he had like one of the best shooters in the draft, and then the other partner in the workout could touch the top of the backboard. So he was like, man, I looked terrible in that workout against them. So he was like, but the team that we played against wouldn't let us hoop. They just had us do shooting drills and athletic testing.
Yeah, so some guys are hoopers, some guys are drill guys.
The same group of guys he worked out with another team, and they played ones, and he said he fried them because he was like, yeah, man, y'all can do this vertical testing, is measured and all that, but at the end of the day, man, roll the ball out and let's go. But then there's guys like Cam Whitmore. You roll the ball out, let's go. He's going to dominate, but
yeah,
coaches.
It's domination. Real quick before we move on from Queen, to what extent can Queen play power forward defensively? If you look at even if you play him at the 5 or the 4.
Man, just look at Houston. Houston played Şengün and Steven Adams. That was a plus lineup, and obviously it worked because they just brought Steven Adams back. We signed for 3 years, $39 million. $39
million. You can play. Yeah, you just got a good coaching staff is going to be creative.
All right, I want to read this real fast. Somebody said VJ Edgecombe equals Rashad McCants. All right, let me answer this. I know Rashad personally. Rashad could hoop. Rashad should have been at the minimum 7th man in the rotation. Rashad was out the NBA. It had nothing to do with talent at all. And Rashad is a really smart dude, believe it or not. People don't think he's smart. He's playing a role right now. He's playing a character so he can be aggregated. I mean, whatever his name is on Twitter is something along the lines.
On his head, man.
Yeah, Rashad is clowning, but Rashad is crazy talented. One of the most talented dudes I've ever seen up close and in person. So if VJ is Rashad at the same level, then if
VJ has Rashad's offensive,
he doesn't have Rashad's offensive game. He's a better athlete, but he doesn't have Rashad's offensive game. But if he has Rashad's talent and he's just not Rashad, then he's going to play in the NBA a long time. All right.
But my man,
shout out to Rashad, man.
Yeah, I think Queen can play. You just got to get creative. He can defend his space. I think he'll be fine. I think he has the tools. He's got great hands. He's just not going to block a lot of shots. It's going to be some crafty blocks. But I mean, like I said, you pair him with Sar. I think you answer all those questions. All right, Ralph, we're getting down to it.
All right, let's. All right, we need to go more in depth on the top 5. Join us tomorrow night. We're gonna go with James's top 5 because we know people are gonna want to do some arguing about this top 5. But anyway, we just did 6 through 30, and we saving James's top 5 prospects for tomorrow. Hey, big shout out to everybody that
thank you for staying up late.
Been here for 2 hours. It is 12:16 Central Time. So hey man, I enjoyed it, man. I love doing live. We're gonna do this again tomorrow. Again, tune in tomorrow about same time, about 9:30 Central, and we're gonna we're gonna go real in depth on the James's top 5.
Hey, do your homework, Mike Jones, man. Come on, man. You got to get better, man. You got to have a Cooper flag moment and improve as the season goes on, man.
Yeah, Mike Jones, man. Shout out to Mike Jones.
Shout out to Mike
the man
Jones.
that doesn't believe in Cooper flags shooting. But I'm gonna end on this on Mike Jones. Mike Jones was the guy that was high on what's my man's name? Buzelis last year. Matas Buzelis last year, saying he should be number 1. And Matas was hooping. But Cooper statistically was a better shooter than Matas.
He not going to say
that.
Saying
that Cooper can't shoot, but he believed Matas could shoot. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much. We'll be back tomorrow. I promise you, we'll be back tomorrow, and we're going to cover the James's top 5. So we'll be in that.
Hold on, Ralph. 9:30. We gotta have to move it around because the game's gonna be on.
All right, right after the game tomorrow.
Right after the game
tomorrow, we're going live.
I'm not going live during the game, though.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace.